Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, and we are back for another Sister Wives Season 9 review. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump into it. I'm probably gonna get annoyed. I watched this the other day and I should have recorded it then when I was fresh in my emotions, but I did not do that. So hopefully it pulls something out of me as I begin to read these notes. So we begin the episode with Christine overly excited about Robyn and Cody officially beginning the adoption process. Now, it's a bit much to me. I get that she's happy, but her level of excitement sometimes I feel like it is a little bit actress like let me make sure that I perform this role so that when my husband comes back and looks at this footage, because he's critiquing every little thing that I do, that he can see that I was the dutiful wife and I was the good sister wife and I was happy for my family. But I could be wrong, because Christine is a naturally bubbly person. You all let me know down below what you think. Robyn says that it's been over a year since Mary started the process for the children to be adopted. And at this point, they are at the last hurdle. Once again, pay attention to the fact that Mary looks like she has no desire to be there for most of this episode, especially in the confessionals. She looks like she's just going through the motions. She looks extremely miserable to me. So the goal is to show the judge that they have everything in order, and then let the judge know that Cody wants to adopt the kids. But there is an insurgency because the judge may have an issue with them being a polygamous family. And they keep on talking about this polygamous family aspect of it. But bottom line is, part of the reason why they decided to do what they did in terms of having Mary divorce Cody is because it's more favorable to the judge. Now, all the adults arrive at their attorney to talk about the adoption. Ron says, that's their attorney, that they have the signed consent form and everything else is now in order. So all they need to do is to get them to sign this one last thing. They'll file it and then they'll set a time to proceed and go to court. He says that after this is done, Vital Statistics will issue a new birth certificate. Janelle then starts smiling and saying, with Cody's name on it. I thought that Janelle was reaching with this, but she wasn't. And I didn't know that they did that. This is extremely disturbing to me that this is something that they do, because here you have this man who's already had to give away his rights for whatever reasons that he felt that he needed to give away his rights. And that add on top of that, that now their actual biological father's name is going to be erased from that birth certificate by the paperwork as well. It just seems like it's not right to me. Now, Robyn is pleasantly surprised that his name is going to be on the birth certificate. And she says that it's really fun and it's really cool. And I'm just annoyed because at this part of the episode, this point, I'm not liking any of them. Because as a parent, how can you be okay with erasing history like that? How can you be okay with removing their biological father from their birth certificate? It just seems a little cruel. Like, why wasn't the paperwork enough? Why did you have to take it off of that as well? I didn't like it. Because they were so comfortable with removing him. And I feel like for the adults to get on board with it, knowing that they could too have been in the same position, it just bothers me. So Cody looks at Mary, who once again looks like she does not want to be in that attorney's office, and says, "Mary, that's a payday, isn't it?" as he touches her. And Mary says, "Yeah, that's cool." Just like that. Like she's just there. All three of the kids were told by Robyn that they went to change their name to Brown. All of them want to do it, is what I meant to say. They want to change their name to Brown, but Dayton wants his middle name changed as well. So we find out via Robyn that Dayton's legal name at this point has been David Preston. They call him Dayton because they took half of his legal name, Dave, and then the back half of Preston's name Ton. And so now they made Dayton. But he wants to make it so that his first name is Dayton. He wants to be called Dayton Brown. I gotta be honest, I didn't feel like they needed to give that whole entire backstory, but I do get it. The bird told us more about her son's name than she did her own. Once it's signed, they'll send over everything and things will move quickly. Robyn says, here we are in the same office that we had the legal divorce and it wasn't fun. I'm not sorry. The bird was divorced or was Mary divorced? Because the way the bird is talking, you would have thought in that office when it wasn't fun, it was because she was going through divorce. Rather, it was Mary. We see Mary in confessional right now, and she's very different. We see her in this office right now, and she's very different. Robyn is putting out her best tears, her best theatrics here, and Mary isn't doing anything. Mary, who normally would be very emotional during this whole thing, isn't crying, but Robyn is. And I just said, okay, Mary is clearly checked out of all of this. So she continues. It's like this hurdle that we had to jump through to get to this. She says, by signing this paperwork, I just can't help feel awesome. Cody says, some people really made sacrifices in the effort to secure our family. And I want him to say who those people are. I want him to say Preston made a sacrifice, even though it wasn't to secure his family, it was for the benefit of his kids. But I want him to say Preston made a sacrifice. I want him to say Mary made a sacrifice. I want him to say Janelle and Christine made a sacrifice, because at this point, they sacrificed not only the standing on what they could possibly get for themselves by doing this legal change, because Robyn's not going to look out for them, but also they sacrifice what their children would receive. You got to look at the whole thing in the bigger picture. This wasn't just about a name change or just about having it so that if something happened, Cody could handle it. This was very much so about inheritance. And I feel like Robyn knew that once she had this, that she secured not only her future, but her kids' future as well. Now, Robyn says it just feels really good. Christine interjects and says he's a good person to put your kids on paper with. Christine is always the lifesaver. And I'm just sitting here like, goodness gracious, Christine, you really were naive. They leave the office and go straight home to tell Brianna and Dayton and Aurora that they signed the paperwork to begin the adoption. I don't even feel like this was something that they needed to say. You already told them that you were going to be able to begin the process, so just do it. Here you are, and you're giving these kids every single detail of the next step of this adoption, but you weren't willing to do the same for all your other kids when you decided that you were going to up and move to Vegas. You didn't make them privy to a lot of things. You told them at the last minute, so you said because you were scared about the authorities finding out. Well, that's not what it was. So you can tell the kids every little step of this adoption for over a year, but you couldn't tell your other kids what was going on. It just seems annoying to me. He tells them, and it's very anticlimactic. He's always looking for some type of validation, something to make his ego just even bigger. How many times do you want them to be excited about the process that probably at this point has seemed like it's taken forever to them because they are children and time does pass slowly when it comes to them wanting something? Dayton says that we're all shocked, but we are excited. Aurora says, so now we won't feel like partially brown emotionally, but now we'll be brown in everything. And I'm rolling my eyes when I hear her talking because I don't know if it's coming from her or her mother. I'm not saying that she does not have the intellectual abilities to be able to make that statement. It's just a lot of times when Aurora is speaking, I don't hear Aurora, I hear Robyn. Robyn says it's no guarantees. And it would really be hard to come back to the kids and say, this isn't going to work, which is another reason why they shouldn't have said anything until they knew for a fact that it had been approved by the judge for this to happen. The other moms leave. Bald Eagle tells the kids after they're leaving that she has something to tell them. And she says, we're having a baby. Aurora squeals with excitement, hugging her mom. She's been apparently asking when they're going to have another one for a long time. Brianna is excited, and once again, Dayton is in shock. We are told by Robyn that Dayton probably is sitting there the way he is, and he's in shock because with his Asperger's, he's probably wondering how life is going to change for him, because one of the elements of Asperger's is that you struggle with changes in your schedule, which is true. That is one of the elements. However, we've already been told this before. Often, frequently, when they were doing that move, and Dayton did not struggle at all with either one of those moves, with the move from the house that Robyn was staying at to Utah, or from the move from Utah to Vegas, and any of those other homes that they lived at in between. So I feel like sometimes, as always, Robyn heightens things and makes things more of a thing than they have to be. Just watch him and see how he responds and keep it moving. So, as far as I'm concerned, we don't need Robyn to tell us yet again about her son's reaction to things. We get it. We've been watching long enough to know that Dayton responds differently. That's fine. Dayton says it will just take him some time to adapt, but he'll be fine. Robyn lets the kids know that they just found out this news like 2 to 3 weeks ago, and she needs them not to tell everyone else. That it's a big secret. And I'm like, okay, this is a big secret to keep when you're a little kid. But we know that Robyn likes to have secrets. And I thought there was nothing wrong with her keeping this secret until a little bit further on. Okay. Robyn says telling the family about being pregnant with Solomon was stressful. It really wasn't, though, because Cody and Robyn turned it into something that it wasn't even to this day. We get a flashback of the older teenagers who just had to up and leave their friends, who moved to a completely different state, who had this addition of not only their mom and these kids, who were not spending a lot of time with their father because he was so busy courting this other woman. These kids were depressed, they were angry, and they did not know how this move was going to affect them financially. Be told that you are creating yet another mouth to feed, yet another life to take some attention. Then on top of that, Cody announced in this roundabout way to tell them about this baby that, guess what, in 7 months, truly won't be the little one anymore. You have kids of various ages that don't understand what that means, and it really overcomplicated the situation even in that. On top of that, you have an awkward Robyn standing there in the kitchen like she is a little schoolgirl who's all bashful and everything, like she's making an announcement that she got her first kiss. But boy, oh boy, how they have not let this go, how they've held on to something at this point that we're told happened in March 2011, which was 4 years ago. As I'm sitting here watching this, I want to know why Robyn always has to involve Mary in this process. Why does she always have to include her in pregnancy announcements? Why does she always have to tell her first? What is her goal in sinking her bird-like claws into Mary first? It's like the first time I'm going to tell Mary first, and the second time I need Mary to tell the family. I feel like it's just another way of her kind of controlling the situation. So Robyn continues. It stung her because I'm trying to do my eyes like her. It stung me because of the teenager's reaction. So guess what? Because she made such a big thing of it, I'm sure those kids decided that whenever she was going to make this announcement again, that she was pregnant, that they would give the best performance. I'm joking. They probably didn't decide that, but it's like, how you're really dragging this out. Your kids love Solomon. Why is this still a thing? And it's very much so a thing because she talks about it in season 18. It's a thing. She says the kids were angry and dealing with it in different ways. They were still trying to accept her and the kids. So there's this selfish part of her. Keep this in mind. Remember I said that I didn't have a problem with her telling her children first until she made this statement. There's this selfish part of her that decided to tell Dayton, Brianna, and Aurora alone. because she wanted to have a joyful moment with just herself and her kids in case it didn't go well with the rest of the family, which further tells me that this is something that she probably fed to that bald eagle time and time again about how hurt she was by the family's reaction, because he kind of agrees with it later on. Interestingly enough, I didn't find her being selfish by doing that when I first watched it. But now knowing that she admittedly did it for that reason, I find her to be selfish. The other moment was joyful. Did we not see in the video Christine run over to her and give her a hug? And then once some of the other kids saw that Christine was happy, they embraced her as well. Did we not see Leon say, "I'm happy for you. I'm just a little sad for my mom"? Did we not see some of the other kids respond well? But she's not holding on to that. No, what she's holding on to is that Maddie and Hunter and Janelle did not seem overly excited about it, and that Janelle's children kind of expressed that. The victim that she is shows up in every little thing. She said she just wanted to enjoy that time, and if anybody has a problem with it, that she announced it to her kids first and then the family. And if they have a problem with, now that she's pregnant, once it's announced to the family, that she's going to just have to try not to take it personally. But you've taken it personally because 4 years later, we're hearing about this like it just happened yesterday. She's sitting in the chair telling us that when she started thinking about getting pregnant and telling the family that she got anxiety thinking of what the family reaction would be. Mother, bleep, 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 bleep. I just saw myself. I look crazy. Y'all, I promise you, nothing is wrong with me. I promise you. Are you serious? Liebrows, and you know who coined that term. I don't want to say your name wrong. I don't want to say it wrong, but everybody loves it. I'm going to put it down in the comment section, or tell me how to pronounce it so I make sure that I pronounce it correctly. I think it's Valadia, and I want to make sure that I say it right. So tell me in the comment section, because you guys, there's a lot of people that I saw in the comment section that like the term liebrows, and that came from one of you all. And I want to make sure that I say it right when I say your name. But this is a pure example of liebrows and her showing her face yet again. Because you mean to tell me that you were thinking about this when you thought about conceiving a baby? Because the last thing I think that bird, that vulture, liebrows, Sobum, Robyn, all the many names that we have for her, was worried about was the family while she was trying to get pregnant. I'm just saying, let's be clear here. Robyn has to guard herself from thinking that they'll have a problem with her and that they won't accept that baby. Even though we've seen how well they treated and coddled, because that's what they did, Solomon. Because everything Saul did was just so great. And Saul bridged this family together and saw this and saw that. Isn't that the things that we were told when Solomon was little? Yes, it was. Mary had some complications with her health for the last few months. Okay, we're on to Mary. This segment kind of bothered me a little bit, and we'll talk about it more. So she had complications with her health over the last few months. In 6 weeks, she dropped 30 pounds. I don't want the health issues associated with that, but that would be great if I could just drop 30 pounds by doing nothing. I'm just saying. I got to keep it honest. So she had a bunch of different testing done, and during the CAT scan, they found something else that was concerning to them. So they told her that they wanted her to go to her OBGYN as a result to see what's going on. But the problem is her stomach, so she doesn't quite understand that. Let's note that this would be very concerning to Mary because Mary's sister had passed from cancer. So even though my guess at this point is that maybe it might have been a thyroid problem, that would probably have been something, what her sister went through on her mind. Let's also note that as this is progressing, we've seen time and time again where Kody makes all these various appointments with Robyn, even the little things, even things involving the kids. He's always there for all of those things. But you're not here with Mary, who got bad results, who drastically dropped, not bad results, concerning results, who has been drastically dropping weight, who you know has a history of cancer in her family, and he's not at the appointment with her. So she says she's frustrated. She didn't even go there for this. But because they told her that it's important for her to follow up with the OBGYN, that's what they're doing. They want to be able, when she's talking with her doctor, to rule out cervical cancer based on what they saw, so she has to have a pap smear. The doctor does the pap smear, we come back in the room, and the doctor says that her exam was smooth and that she doesn't see any obvious signs of cancer, which is good, but she still wants to run the smears off for testing just to make sure that she's indeed okay. So at this point, they just have to wait. Mary's in confessional talking about how heavy all of this is and how heavy her having these health issues are. And I go back to the fact that this is a woman who's telling us that she's heavy and her husband isn't there. So this very much so has got to be around the time of the catfish and a part of the reason why Mary felt disconnected. So Christine and Kody, they head to Nancy's for another pointless therapy session. So Christine said in Galveston, one of the things that she realized is that she needs to focus on not just the two of them, but how they fit in the big picture of the family. And she, now that they're back and it's not just them, she wants to make sure that they continue to be on a good path, because apparently right now they're doing good. We don't know how long it's been since that trip, but they're doing good. They talk about the rock stacking exercise and how Kody used that opportunity to not only dominate the situation, but to focus on the family when they were told to focus on themselves. Remember, Christine kept trying to make it about them, and he basically let her know that if she doesn't get the picture, then that's not going to work for him. Kody tells Nancy that he learned from the process that he really wasn't listening. Christine does this awkward laugh to it. Kody says it was really fun though, and Christine says it was fun for you, but it wasn't for me. I want to know if you all think that Kody really thought that that exercise was fun, because it didn't seem fun to me. I saw Christine's feelings being hurt. I saw him belittling her. I saw her getting frustrated with the process. I saw her just handing him things. None of that sounds fun to me, yet for some odd reason, he thought that this was fun. So does he take pleasure in hurting her? Because why would you think that the exercise where your wife is getting flushed, she's turning red, she's getting agitated, why would that be fun for you? She felt like she had something else in mind when it came to the exercise, but she just went with what he wanted. She says how when Robyn came into the family, she was shocked with how many times Robyn disagreed with him, because Christine says that she always gave in and just did whatever he needed. And she was shocked that even though Robyn disagreed with him so much, that Kody loved her, even though she was arguing with him. And that moment to me is very telling, because it's not just about confrontation. It's about how Kody treats Christine when she did not do or say something that he wanted her to. I feel like he punished Christine in various ways. He's openly admitted some of those ways now, but he's done it on various occasions. Nancy then says, Kody, is it fair? Is it fair to say that you allow Robyn to voice her opinions in a relationship with you? And Kody says yes. And Christine says definitely. And I want to know why Nancy didn't sit in the fact that the girl said that she could not believe that he still loves Robyn despite her disagreeing with Kody. Why do you feel that way? Why is that something that you're so shocked about? Christine also saw Kody's love from Mary disappear because of them disagreeing. So it's something that she's seen. I'm telling you all, I feel like there's so much more to that piece, but you guys tell me down below what you think. Did Nancy drop the ball, or am I just overanalyzing it? Christine said that she'd like to have that. She looks back at the rock exercise and how she's been over her life with Cody, that she hasn't stood up for herself, just like she didn't stand up for herself in that moment. She says that it's very confrontational when she does it, and she doesn't like confrontation at all. She needs to learn how to speak and have this interaction with Cody without having hurt feelings, which she does, because there are times when I feel like Christine is overly sensitive, but that's just me. We all respond differently to different things. You have to adjust to your partner. Cody wants to know what he can do to better the situation, and Christine says, love me when I have a voice. Allow me to speak my mind and just love me anyway. Once again, Nancy dropped the ball on that, because why wouldn't you dive into that? Cody says, I'm here. And what I hear her saying is that she doesn't feel loved. And I feel that that's just a small part of it. There was something being covered up in that situation. Nancy says she's asking to be witnessed and not judged. She wants you to get what's going on and listen. Cody says his default is to fix things when women like Christine just want validation. And I don't know if I agree with that, because I want Cody to fix his behavior. Don't fix things, fix yourself. Fix the way that you interact with your wife. Fix how you treat her. Fix how you speak to her like she's a child. Fix how you demean her. There's so many other things that Cody could be fixing. Cody admits that there's a lot of listening that he didn't want to do with Christine. He said it's his responsibility to address it, but he had to ignore it because it was overwhelming to him. And that's not true. It wasn't overwhelming to him. It was annoying to him. He's horrible. And he's going to switch up the words so it doesn't sound as bad as it really is. He said he needs to learn to validate Christine by holding her hand and understanding her. And that's the end of that session, that we see Nancy smiling and stuff, and like he just did such a great job. When I'm like, okay, this is a fluff piece. Nancy, you did awful. I'm sorry. Looking at all this, I'm like, these people, sometimes you got to switch it up. Like, look, I had the best licensed clinical social worker. Loved her, loved her, loved her. She was awesome as a therapist. Awesome. But it got to the point where we became friends. And as a result, my therapy kind of suffered, because there was things that she should have been calling me out on that she wasn't. And she openly admitted it. And as a result, I had to change that. It's like, am I going to keep you as this, or am I going to keep you as a friend? I'd much rather keep you as a friend. Please refer me to somebody else. Okay? That's sometimes what you have to do. And in this situation, it seems like that these people didn't hold them accountable for their stuff. But let's go on. Mary is calling everybody over to her house to have dinner and make Robyn's baby announcement for her, because Robyn can't do it. We find out that Robyn told her 2 days ago. Understand, that's a way of her keeping Mary as an ally. Robyn is throwing them off, she says, by doing it at Mary's house and doing it this way, because if she did it at her house, if she had some type of gathering at her house, everyone would know, which lets me know that Robyn's house was not one of the houses that they gathered at. They didn't eat over there, because Robyn can't cook. They didn't eat over there. Look, that's coming from Cody. Season 1, we saw Cody telling Robyn that she needs to get some cooking lessons from Christine as to how to make his food. So they did it at Mary's. If they did it at her house, they would think something's up, because Robyn can't cook. The woman tells us how much anxiety she had at the thought of being pregnant and having to tell the family. But if you watch this part of the episode, pay attention to how calm she is while Mary is standing right beside her getting ready to make the announcement. To the point that you would think that the announcement didn't have anything to do with Robyn and everything to do with maybe Mary and her health issues. I don't know. We hear again about the teenagers and how they didn't have great attitudes about it, and how the teenagers said, don't we have enough kids? That's a dig at Hunter and Maddie, because they were the most vocal, as I said earlier. And even if they did have great attitudes about it, they're right. I don't care if their attitudes weren't great. They were right in what they were saying. You cannot force people to feel the way that you want them to feel about you having a baby. And they're teenagers at that. That has nothing to do with these kids, except that maybe they saw that they were going to have even less time with their dad, because this was going to be more time that their dad was going to spend at the bird's house. We then get another scene with Robyn putting on her theatrics. I'm Robyn. My pregnancy with Solomon was so lonely. I just remember walking around feeling like nobody was excited about it. There was only a few that were excited about me having another baby. We saw those women who were supposedly not excited go shopping with her for many things concerning the baby. Getting furniture, getting all this different stuff for this nursery that she didn't even put the kid in. He had a crib, he had a pack and play, he had a bassinet, right? Yeah. And where does Solomon sleep? Where has he been sleeping that they openly admitted? In the bed the entire time. So these parents and these kids just didn't care, but yet they were doing these things. So how does she feel lonely? Wasn't it the wives that also threw a baby shower for her? She really knows how to drag something out. She is the queen of victimization. I mean, what are we gonna do? I just don't know. Ugh. Even the way she's telling her story, like she changes her body language, knits her eyebrows, does her face like as a way to invoke sympathy. Well, it doesn't work for me. I see past it, Robyn. It's not working. She's preparing herself, she says, in this experience, in case she has the same experience that she had when she announced Solomon. But she's hoping for the best. She thinks that they've come a long way, but she's nervous because she doesn't know what it will be like. It's all a lie. The way she keeps harping on this, you would think that they didn't come a long way. Like, why are you talking like this if y'all come such a long way? She says this will show her where they're at as a family, but she's hopeful because everything is contingent upon the way people respond to her, because she's waiting for an end and something else to complain to the bald eagle about. She's stressed out, she says. Her heart is pounding and she can barely breathe. Pay attention to her because it doesn't look like it to me. Mary says, I wanted y'all to come over here because I have an announcement. You then have Cody saying, look at Mary, everybody, quiet, look at Mary. Mary has an announcement to make. They heard her. They were looking. They heard her. She's standing up. They're all looking at her. They heard her. They don't need the bird to get this special attention sitting right next to Mary. And they don't need the bald eagle to swoop in for his girl. Like, they're listening. Mary says, Robyn's pregnant. You hear cheers and a few I knew it. Robyn said when everybody cheered and was excited and happy that she breathed. Because remember, she lied and told us that she wasn't breathing. So now she's breathing because everybody cheered. Robyn says, I was looking around the room and checking out everybody's faces, and nobody hesitated. Everybody was happy and excited because she was looking, because she was waiting for another moment to be the victim. She said it was the most unified expression of happiness from their family. The ladies are all excited. Cody says we didn't have to hear any of that crap like how we heard the last time about how we already have too many kids. Nobody said that, probably because they were made to feel so awful about the last time we said it. I'm sure that this was a subject of contention and that Cody probably brought that up to those kids. Robyn says she's so excited because everybody started throwing out names and completely owning this baby. I'm, meanwhile, just getting annoyed by the whole thing because present day Solomon and Ariella are treated very differently from the other kids. Cody takes them to school. Admittedly, he wanted to be a part of all these different things that he wasn't a part of for the other ones. Cody gushes over Ariella. Like everything that Ariella does, including sucking out on a pacifier when she's like 7, is okay. Cody wanted the kids to be happy about it, but he's getting irritated because they're all saying all these different names and suggestions for the baby. Meanwhile, this is exactly what the bird wanted. She says them getting into it is exactly what she wanted. Like, she wanted this. This is what she wanted the first time. Cody is annoyed and feeling like the kids are competing for attention because they're saying different names. Cody's interactions with his children were minimal, and he proves it every time. Because why is them suggesting names for your child equated to them competing for attention? Robyn says, don't be upset about it. Don't get annoyed. This is where you breathe. Janelle says, be happy that you have opinionated kids. Because Janelle didn't like what he said about her kids complaining. She looked at him while he was saying it like, I know you're talking about my kids. Christine says that the kids are way more involved this time than they were before. And she feels like that has to kind of be, you know, partially because of where they are now. Mary adds that she totally believes that the reason why the response was what it was originally was because the family was in upheaval with the move and everything, which is kind of what I said in the beginning. She said, it's been 4 years. It's 4 years later, and they're settled and they're secure. Janelle says the kids adore Solomon. So basically, that stuff that Robyn was feeding us doesn't matter. Hunter says, I think it's totally awesome that we're getting another baby. Y'all know I love me some Hunter. Hopefully, he's like Solomon. So why did Robyn sit there on more current episodes and act like these kids did not accept her kids when you see them embracing them in so many different ways? Are you saying that they just did it for filming? She's a freaking liar. Robyn is stressing because she's getting sick faster with this pregnancy. Normally she's sick at 4 weeks, but this time it started happening at 3, and she's showing a lot faster, so she's getting worried. Rain worries her. Air worries her. The sky turning dark black worries her. The stars not being seen from a certain angle worries her. Everything worries her, and she passed that on to some of her kids. The girls head with Robyn to get her prenatal exam with the midwife. We see Cody getting ready to head on out. He gives Solomon a kiss, tells him, you know, what's your name? And Solomon says, Solomon Cody Brown. I did not know that child's middle name was Cody, which made me roll my eyes because Robyn really puts it on thick. Out of all the kids, this is probably the only one with Cody's name somewhere in it. She's going to make sure that she secures her position in every single way, I'm telling you. This is Robyn's first visit, but her 5th pregnancy. And she's sitting there telling us that she contacted the midwife several times to make sure that she's taking the right vitamins and stuff. So you mean to tell me that after your 5th pregnancy, you don't know what vitamins you're supposed to take? You sound crazy. She get on my nerves because you admitted to calling her a whole bunch already over some vitamins. They see April, who was also a part of Solomon's birthing experience. She's the midwife. They check to see if she has twins. She doesn't. Robyn is far because I want to know how far she is right here because she has a lot of belly when they lift it up. Not that I'm not trying to, you know, body shame her. I just noticed that her belly was a lot bigger this time than it was last time. They find the heartbeat, and it's one baby, and it's healthy and strong, which is all that they all want. And that is the end of this episode. You guys, let me know what you thought about it. I'm kind of over them. I gotta be real. And I know when I start getting to the catfish part, I'm really gonna be over that. But we're gonna keep it going. If you have not done so already, check out some of my other videos. I have some books up there. We're currently reading, I can't remember the name of it, something with Jill. I can't remember the name, it's right here. Counting the Cost. With Jill and Derek, Jill Duggar. And she's revealing some things about her family that we didn't see on TV from her words. And it's actually pretty decent. It's starting to pick up. I just read chapter 4 the other day. Check that out. Check out some of my other videos. Leave any suggestions of anything you may want to see. And I may consider it. If you have not done so already, like that video. Comment and subscribe. I am on the road to 2,000. Yes, I know that's a big jump from 1,000. And I think the last time I saw it, it was 60 something. But we're going to keep growing over here because each one of you matter to me. And seriously, I really do appreciate it. I've said it before. You don't have to watch me. There's so many other people out there that are doing this, but you keep coming back, and I appreciate you. Until next time.